Hello again, dear friend, and welcome to another episode of Who Knows?
Who knows what we're going to talk about today? And it's you. You know.
Yeah, last time you came up with a topic. Now, I thought we could talk a bit about lying. And is it okay? When are we okay to lie? How much do we lie? What do you think about that?
An interesting topic for me personally, because I had a little phase when I was
10, 11?
From like age 10 to 12 maybe.
Something like that.
I had a little pathological liar phase.
Actually, that is very normal, that age.
Yeah, I would just lie about everything and anything. Someone would ask, what did I have for breakfast? I would say waffles when I had cereal. Just completely stupid things like that. And I remember, and because of that, I think that's a big reason for my memory and why it's so bad, because I can't trust my memory, because I would lie so much.
But it was just a short period though.
Yeah, but I would lie deeply, and you know that I'm good at lying. And I would lie so I would convince myself that my lie became reality, so I wouldn't get caught in that lie.
Well, that's a little bit messed up.
Yeah, and that's why my memory is awful now, because I'm like, did this happen, or was this a lie?
You messed around with your own mind.
Yeah, lying it's intense, and because of that little phase I had, I rarely lie anymore. Like, if ever. Like, I
don't need to.
No, I feel like telling the truth, no matter how shitty it is, it's still better than lying, I feel.
I think sometimes it's good with a white lie because you don't want to hurt somebody.
No, but it depends. It depends. Because if it's, for example, someone is very confident about their outfit, and then you think it's an absolute abomination of an outfit, and you say, oh yeah, you look great, instead of saying you look like a trash bag,
then it's okay to lie.
That's fine. Ish. I still disagree with it, even though I wouldn't say you look awful right now. I'd still be like, it's not my style, so I'm not the one to talk to. You know, like, I kind of divert the question, but I don't lie. Because
ask your dad. Do not ask him actually if you want. I mean,
no, Dad is very like,
he's hurtful because he tells the truth. So I've learned after 25 years together, I don't ask questions if I don't want the absolute honest truth.
Well, everyone should think like that, I think.
Well,
because you can't ask a question expecting one answer and then be pissed off by the other one.
Well, I think you should lie in certain cases. I really do.
I don't.
I say to all the men out there listening, all the young teenagers, everybody, if a woman or a girl asks you, oh, do you like my shoes, or do you like my hair, or if you don't like it, lie and say, yes, I do, it's pretty, it's beautiful.
See, but I disagree.
It doesn't
with
matter.
that.
I'm just saying an example. It doesn't have to be about the body or the clothes. It could be.
Yeah.
No, it's because that could be so hurtful to the other person. It could almost be traumatic.
Okay, listen. When I say that I disagree, I don't mean blatantly tell them they look awful or you hate their shoes. That's not what I mean at all. Just you don't have to be rude to be truthful, you know? Like, if you don't like what the other person's wearing, just be like, hey, it's not my area, like, I don't really know much about this. As long as you like them.
Yeah, you can sugarcoat it.
Not sugarcoat it, but like, that is the honest thing for me. Like, if there's been times where I've really not liked your outfits, but I don't say, oh.
Of course you do.
I mean,
me you do.
Sometimes, sometimes, because sometimes they're really bad. I'm sorry, but it helps you. It's like, no, because like, for example, when you used to smoke, you used to make a funny face when you exhaled your smoke, and since then, you never did that.
Well, I haven't smoked now for over 2.5 years.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when you did smoke. Like, you would always make this, like, weird face with your teeth. And, like, I told you about that one day. And since, like, after that, you didn't do it anymore. And you thanked me for that because you were like, oh, my God, I've gone my entire life making this weird face and no one's told me. So that's why I think honesty is better than lying, no matter what the case is.
Yeah, but that I didn't even ask you about that, but you told me anyway because we're close. But sometimes I think it's a very fine line with people.
100%.
You shouldn't sometimes, in the yoga philosophy, they talk about don't open your mouth and tell the truth if it's not beneficial for the person
or if it's
in the
not
other.
wanted.
Yeah, as well. It's like giving advice to people that haven't even asked for your advice.
Yeah, you don't just go around telling people, hey, you look like trash. No, like you need to... But it's gotta be someone that you know, like that knows you, that is comfortable and like knows that you don't mean any harm in what you're saying and like that you're just trying to help, and if they want to take that help, cool. If my opinion doesn't mean anything to them, that's also fine, but it really, you need to, it's a very fine line between being an asshole and being truthful. But yeah, I mean, like I've dealt with a bunch of liars in my life. I've been a liar a bunch in my life, and in both cases, it feels terrible. So now I've just become very racist towards liars and lying because I just like...
Life is so much easier when we tell the truth.
Yeah and no. I mean, the truth hurts and sucks a lot. Sometimes. But even though it hurts and it's hard to hear and it's a hard pill to swallow, it's still necessary to hear, I feel, depending on the truth, of course. It depends, with the truth and lies thing, it depends fully on the situation, but I still believe that in any situation, it's better to tell the truth.
But it's funny how little lies we still do, most of us, I think. Let me find an example. Oh, yeah. For example, like this, you have a power nap or somebody calls you and wakes you up in the morning and the person in the other end goes, oh, were you sleeping? Like, no, I'm up. That happens a lot. That I know for sure. People are like, no, I wasn't sleeping. No, no.
Yeah, I mean...
It's like, I'm busy because it's so in our society, it's so important to be busy. So you have a power nap or having a lie-in on a Monday, it's like, no, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah. No, I mean, I notice a lot of those. Yeah, I notice a lot of those, like, little lies that people do, and I don't get them. Like, if someone calls me or, like, asks what I've been doing, I'm just like, I was sleeping. You woke me up. And it's like, I'm not gonna, like, sugarcoat it for you. This is what happened, And, like, I think I'm just very sick of the world just sugarcoating everything, because it's also, this is another, like, lying part. The world and the government and the system.
Well, we have some big liars.
Exactly. And it's like, but to so much of the population, they're telling the honest truth. And I think that's also a reason why I'm so against lying now and liars, because of, like, what Dad does and growing up hearing all this, like, absolute bullshit that the world is telling us all the time that we just blatantly believed for so long. I think that's a big reason, because it crushes your whole belief system and reality. But but at least you live in an honest world. It's tough to see, and it's very, like, sad and just frustrating at times to hear it. And it's, like, especially I remember during COVID and quarantine, you would get so frustrated and sad and angry because you were like, oh, but why is it like this? Like, yeah, you would just, and yeah, it's those situations where it's like, yeah, you know what, like, this really sucks, but at least you're not living in a fake world, you know, at least you know what's happening.
Well, I got sad because there was so many people starving and suffering, and I know I have a hard time with that. That's why my teacher, she's always said, well, don't watch the news, which I haven't done for over 20 years. We haven't had a normal TV with normal mainstream news for 20 years now. So, but then you know, if in a hotel or whatever, there's TVs everywhere. And I stumbled over in lockdown some news about India. We were in Spain, and people were just starving to death because there was no... And it just sticks with me, these pictures, and, you know, I can't do it. So I want to know the truth, what's going on, but at the same time, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But do you find, though, because you've been growing up in a bit of a different way when it comes to the information the world
just
gets
a little
to you, and do you then find it hard to trust information that comes to you?
So trust has been a very weird thing with me, because when I was younger, I used to think that I had severe trust issues. And I'm not fully sure what trust issues means, and I'm not fully sure if I have trust issues. Because with me, I'm like that. I always want to see the best in people, like the good in people, instead of believing that this person is a bad person, you know? I'd rather just really try my hardest to see that they're a good person, which is good and bad in both ways. But when it comes to trust, I have this thing where I will put my 100% trust into someone, and what they do with that, that's their choice, and that shows me what kind of person they are. Now, I don't know if that's a trust issue or not, because, like, it does hurt me in many scenarios, because I do, like, fully trust this person. Like, I'm like, you know what, like, here you go, this is my trust, I'm giving you this, and it's your choice to do with that, you know? And a lot of the time they just take advantage of it and then chuck it to the wolves, you know? So that hurts me, but at the same time, it shows me who they are as a person, and they're not good enough to be in my life, you know? So trusting information, and it also depends on what kind of information, because it also depends on who the person is. It depends on a lot of things. For me, with these kinds of questions, I can't fully answer, because it really just does depend on so many things for me. Because if it's someone that I truly respect and that I see as, like, all-knowing, or like, not all-knowing, but someone that I know has more experience than I do, and someone that I know knows so many more things than me, then yeah, I'm going to trust what they say. Whether I agree with them or not, that's a different thing, but I'm going to trust what they say. But also, it depends what they say, because if they say something that I know is very not true, but they believe it, then, like, I trust... It's weird. Like, I trust them, but I don't agree with them. You know? Which is two different things. So, like, yeah, I put my full trust in people, and it's, like, their choice what they do with it, and it's just because I trust people doesn't mean that I have to agree with them. So yeah, trust is it's a weird thing for me. What about you? How do you see trust, and how do you trust the information that comes to you and people that you meet?
Oh, very tricky.
Yeah.
Very, very tricky. I think after so many years as well, and Dad and I, not only out there in the world, information that comes to us and where does that information come from, and then we've had so many, well, quite a few actually sad experiences with people showing up, and then we believe who they are and let them in our home, and they become parts of our
backstabbers.
Yeah, and then that turns out to be completely a different person, and with a different agenda and all that. So when you've gone through that over and over again a couple of times or a few times, then it's Dad and I are always open-hearted and letting other people in, but I'm more cautious than he is.
Yeah.
So we always say, or he calls me, I'm his bodyguard because I'm so much more careful. He's just open arm and hugs everybody and sees the good in people. I do as well, but I'm a little bit more cautious and careful, I think.
Yeah.
And that's due to what kind of work he does and what website we run with Light on Conspiracies. So it's when it comes to that at work, I'm careful. When it comes to friends, that has got nothing to do with what we work with, or then it's easier, I feel, because then it's on a different level of connection. Let's say that, and then you kind of, because then I have an interest in that person, and then like here in Bali, we've been here 2.5 years, we're still getting to know people and still learning, and that's interesting, and then trust is easier.
I mean, lying and trust is weird, and it's funny because I've had the exact same experiences where it's I've had people in my life and they've become very close to me, and I've gotten very close to them and gotten to know them and on very deep levels, and then they just completely turn into a different person just overnight. And even though that's happened quite a few times, I still put my full trust in people, because I don't know, for me, I guess it's kind of like a test, because it's like I don't really care if you break my trust. I mean,
oh yeah, you do.
I mean, I do, obviously. I'll completely lose respect for you and want you out of my life if you break my trust. But because trust is very important to me, because without trust there's nothing, I feel. And let me rephrase. It's not that I don't care that if you break my trust, is that I think I'm used to it, which is kind of sad to say, but I feel it's happened to me so many times that at this point it's not surprising anymore. What's surprising is when they don't break my trust. Then I'm like, oh, you're genuine? What?
Oh, that's sad.
No, I mean, I don't really see it as sad. I mean, I am such a strong believer in that everything happens for a reason. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds sad, but I'm very, I've accepted it, and I don't see any negativity in it. I see that, I mean, you've said this since I was a kid, that every person comes with a lesson, A lesson or a blessing, or what was the saying?
Well, I would say both. They're all teachers, basically.
Yeah. So even though, I could be hurt for some time, or it could be traumatizing situation, there's still a reason for it, and there's still a lesson to be learned there. And that's I'm very grateful to know that, because so many people can go through so much heartbreak and so much traumatic things and absolute hell and back, but just don't learn the lesson. So then they get stuck in this loop of learning these awful, or like the universe trying to teach them these lessons, but they don't get it. And I'm very grateful to be aware that there is a reason for everything, that every person comes with a lesson. So even though it does sound sad when I say that, I don't see it as sad. I see it as it's just another lesson, and it's more growth for me to do, you know? But yeah, I mean, trust I also think it's kind of stupid not to trust people, but at the same time, I get it. 'Cause like, I think that there's so much, not evil, but like negativity and just terrible people in this world that have caused all these trust issues and things like that. But I just try to forget about how awful humans can be sometimes, and I kind of see people on a more spiritual level, and I think that's why I put so much trust into them, because I feel these spiritual beings wouldn't hurt me, you know, it's the physical beings that would. So
but it's interesting that you say, because when I hear you, I love that you still trust, and that you keep that door open, because in itself, you being very connected with the spirits and energies and frequencies in itself, then I think you know almost on a subconscious level that when you keep that door open, you don't attract anymore, you used to anymore, people that come your way. I'm just dealing with a friend here in Bali at the moment, and that has been conned for money, paying 50% deposit for furniture that might not arrive, and she will lose her deposit. But the mindset from my friend has been a little bit like, I don't know if I can trust the locals, can we trust the Indonesian people, can we? And I know from so much of that we've been going through, me and Dad together, that if I have that mentality to start with, that I can't trust anybody around me, I can't trust the locals, that's what's going to happen.
100%.
So it's so lovely to hear, even though that you've been knocked down so many times, and it's been heartbreaking to see when you've actually had really good friends and then that has turned into something else. But I think it's also part of growing up and the age you've been, and
it all happens for a reason.
Yeah, I know, and that's a very healthy mindset as well. But I love that you're keeping that door open even though you've been hurt, because it's easier, I think, to do as my friend is doing now, just to shut the door and say, I'm not going to trust anybody. But that becomes a very isolating life and environment to live in and walk in as your path in life, to have that from your heart. I'm not trusting anything, I'm not trusting anybody. You can live like that, but I think it will be a very lonely journey.
I think people really truly have to realize that it really is mind over matter.
For sure.
Because like when you mentioned something that brought me back to an ex-relationship of mine, and this person, they grew up in a very like hostile environment, which made them like constantly be on guard and constantly like never trust anyone, never trust your surroundings, everyone's a liar and all these things. And like the situations that this person would attract was like out of a movie, and I was just like, how, like, this doesn't happen to people, but because you're thinking it 24/7 and it's all you ever think about, you're gonna attract it. And it was fascinating to look at, because I was like, how are you not realizing that you're doing this, you know? But I mean, everyone's on their journey. I hope that they do realize eventually. But
it's so easy to see from the outside, though.
Yeah.
But you can't fix it.
No.
You can't.
But I remember telling them this, and they were like, what do you mean? No. And they were spiritual. Like, they were very spiritual. But they didn't realize it. And it's fascinating to think about, because it really is mind over matter.
Yep.
Because, like, it's like you always use this example. And every time we do our, like, grateful things, you always say that it really is like mind over matter, because if you go around for a week and all you think about all day is I'm depressed, I'm sick, I'm depressed, I'm sad.
Guess what's gonna happen?
You're gonna get sick, and you're gonna get sad, and you're gonna get depressed.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, it's incredible, because so many people don't believe it, including myself. At times I'm like, no way, like, this is out of a movie, this is a video game, no way that works. It does. It's fascinating, because I remember when I was very insecure about a lot of things about me, I would go around all day and I'd be like, you know what, no, I'm confident, I'm great, I'm beautiful, good. And this is that. And every time a negative thought popped up into my head, this is actually very good advice. Every time a negative thought popped into my head, I would chuck that aside and replace it with a new one, even though I didn't fully.
You know what? You just did a yoga sutra. That is called Pratipaksha Bhavana.
Ha blah blah blah.
Pratipaksha Bhavana. You take something negative and you just replace it in your mind with something positive.
Yeah,
and that's the practice.
And even though I was insecure and I didn't believe these things that I was saying about myself, I didn't believe that I was beautiful, I didn't believe I was good, I would still say them, and after a while, they became true.
Yeah.
It truly is fake it till you make it. It truly is mind over matter. And every time I tell that to like people that are insecure, and I'm like, this is what I did and it works. I know it sounds stupid, but it really does work. They're like, no, what do you mean? And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. But like,
it works.
It's so like, it's stupid how stupid it is. But it works.
It's so important, the self-talk, and that's how we lie. We lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
We're starting talking about lying in this episode, and how much do we lie to ourselves?
Constantly.
It's so sad.
Yeah. But I like that that
it's Sanskrit.
I still use that like on a daily basis, because sometimes like you could just wake up and look yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh wow, that's a hot mess, what I'm looking at, you know. But I always make sure to leave the mirror with a positive thought.
Yeah, good.
Instead of like leaving the mirror being like, ugh, I look like shit today, oh my god, my hair's a mess, oh, I've got acne, I'm just like, you know what, she looks good. Yeah. You know what, she's pretty damn hot. Like, it's just random things like that. Like, even though it could be a joke, even though you don't believe it, it's still good. And that's a positive way of lying to yourself.
Very good.
You know?
Very good.
Because eventually it becomes the truth.
I think though most people your age and younger have that record in there. I remember when I did yoga workshops for teenage girls. I used to have like I made an A4 with 2 CDs on them, and I said one CD is positive and one CD is negative self-talk that you have about yourself. And they had to fill them in, you know, and the negative CD was just full of old tracks that was just keeping repeating, and the positive one maybe 1 or 2. So it was so interesting to see these girls that the track on that CD, the negative one, was just repeating. So we did a ritual around that, letting it go, and then putting more positive ones, they were helping each other, putting more positive tracks on the positive one, because it is pratipaksha bhavana. You change something bad in your mind for something better, and it's hard work.
Oh, 100%.
But it works. It's just like you say, you fake it till you make it, and it comes out on the other end, and they feel so much better, because people think themselves sick, physically sick.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I always say that stress is the killer of the mind, because like every single time that I'm stressed, my back starts aching. I get headaches. I'm nauseous all the time. I remember in school every day I would have back pains, especially when it was like exam week.
Yeah.
And it's just so, like, I know it's like, I hate saying this because it's like everyone's on their journey and like they'll get there, but it's like, how do you not notice it? You know, that like it's so stupidly simple, but at the same time you need to put effort.
Yeah, but I think maybe people notice, but what do you do about it? Because it's one thing to notice, and I think most people know that it's not so good to have, you know, bashing yourself in your mind with that kind of self-talk. But if you haven't got the tools, what to do, or what, I mean, these days you can search the internet. I mean, we've been lucky. I mean, you got our teacher from the age of 1.
Yeah.
You've been, you know, almost in your breast milk. You've had the yoga philosophy and the sutras, you know, every week. And Dad and I were studying very hard at that time when you were little. So I think it's easier for you, and that's why I find it so amazing that you're actually helping, because I know how you help other ones in your age with just giving some tools.
Yeah.
And sowing some seeds.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it on the table. If they take it, cool. If they don't, it's not their time, you know?
Yeah.
But at least
I find it's the best to ask questions, because you know how pushy I can be. I used to be. I'm not going to ask who are you, because that's kind of all, we've done that so much, but it is important. But there's so many other questions, you know, you can because as soon as you ask a question, the subconscious mind will work 24/7 to solve it. That's why these empowering questions are so... You're laughing at me now because
I'm laughing because I'm just getting so many flashbacks to the amount of time I've been like, just what? Like, because we could be in the middle of any conversation. We could be talking about penguins or something, and you just out of nowhere throw in like the deepest, most like traumatized, digging up trauma question just out of nowhere, and like me and Dad can look at you like, huh? Like, what?
Well, give me an example. I don't know if I do that.
Like, no, you really do, and it's hilarious because you don't notice that you do it. Like,
maybe I'm not listening.
Exactly. No, but I can't give an example at the top of my head, but like one of the examples that is like the one that I always use is the "who are you?" Like the amount of times I've had friends over and you're just like, just in the middle of a conversation.
It's essential.
Yeah, but in the middle of just a happy-go-lucky conversation, you just look at them, you put your hand on their lap, and you're like, "Who are you?" And I'm just like, "Mom, we were just talking about like cookies or something," and like.
Well, that's the right time to bring it up, because then everybody's in a light mood.
Yeah, but then
milk
you
and
just
cookies and who
dumb
are you?
It down. You just.
Oh, I make it a little bit pink and fluffy, you mean, and just like, who do you,
it's a deep question.
I know. No, but what I meant, I mean, who are you or who am I? That's the big question with the capital B, I think.
That's a question that I don't think anyone will ever answer.
Capital B, big capital Q, maybe. But anyway, no, about other questions that... No, but like what kind of tracks do you run in your mind about yourself, about your body?
Yeah.
What tracks are... Well, when I was growing up, we had LPs, and they could have like they got stuck on one track. You had to lift up the thing and move it. So you don't know what that is, but it gets stuck in one track basically.
Vinyl records are coming back now, actually.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, but just asking that kind of question. Yeah. Because you can't really do anything about it until you're aware that you're actually doing it to yourself. So, yeah.
We talked about lying.
Yeah, now we're talking about...
derailed
no, but
now.
This is lying to yourself.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because it is a lie, because we are so perfect the way we are. We're walking around in the meat suit that is absolutely miraculous, that is doing non-stop work so we can function. We have a mind that is amazingly creative. And then we just negative self-talk. Well, maybe not so much... me at the moment, but yeah, I do sometimes, but not a lot. But your age, I think a bit more before you kind of give it up. That's why sometimes I look forward to more and more getting older. Not my body so much, but my mind, because I see older people. They don't give. They just like. You know, I see it. Dad and I was watching...
It depends.
No, absolutely. But Dad and I was watching
But like in Spain, 100%. Like...
Oh, God. The old ladies and the old...
They just sit back in their little chair. They're like, you do you. I'm going to sit here. I don't care what happens. I'm not leaving this chair. I don't care how I look.
Oh, I love the old Spanish ladies. This is my
ladies.
Chair. Yeah.
It's... Yeah, I mean...
Do you know what I mean? When you get...
Yeah, you can just
and nobody can really tell you off because you're old.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just...
Dad, he thinks I'm going to be one of these with a cane just going bam, bashing people.
No, you're going to be one of those who will sit on the couch and drink wine and have 15 cats around you.
Do you think so?
100%.
No.
Or, no, I take that back. You're going to be one of those that, like, somehow is still moving, but, like, it shouldn't be possible. You should have a cane and, like, all these things and, like, a wheelchair, but you're just like, nah, you know what? Like, hip is dislocated, but whatever. And you're just going to feed, like, your emus and alpacas and weird animals.
Oh, I love that. Well, somebody said they saw me as an old... when I got older, they saw me very haggard.
Haggard?
Yeah, I had to Google that name because I thought I always think I'm fluent in English, and then somebody throws me that. Haggard is like, she saw me with lots and lots of kids around, and that's probably true because I am in the process of starting a charity English school, but she saw me haggard, and that means I'm in my element, but I'm very worn out and tired.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a tendency to overwork yourself very easily.
Well, I like what I do, though. Yeah. I'm not overworking myself. I'm off to massage this afternoon. We're in Bali.
Yeah, but sometimes you could be like on your deathbed and you're like, let's go for a jog. Like,
no.
No, but not that example. But you don't really know when to take a break.
I think I can. I think I can.
I don't think you can. You always say you can, but every time you're like really sick, you're like, you're still up, you're still doing stuff. You're
I know.
Still like, you can't sit still.
Unless I got fever, that really knocks me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like...
Yeah. Lucky I'm never sick.
No, but like growing up...
That's all the greens and the stuff I'm eating. I'm going to get that into you and Dad more.
And poison us some more.
Oh, we're running out of time again.
Has it already been an hour?
No, we do 45 minutes.
Oh.
Because I think people are busy.
Well, let's track back to lying.
Lying,
as an exit.
So, what is one lie that is okay to do? In your own mind.
As in to myself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. positive things. I mean, you could lie to yourself. Like, you could say positive things to yourself and think, that's not true. I'm lying to myself. But, like...
Is it okay to lie about your age?
No, I think that's stupid. Even though I've done it so many times, I think it's so stupid. I was talking about this the other day on my second account. Because it's like when you're, like, 5, you're like...
You're so proud of being 5.
Yeah, you're like, I'm this much.
Showing your hand.
5 years old. But then when you're 85, if someone asks you your age, you're immediately offended by it.
No, it goes the other way. When you're 85, you don't give...
Okay,
you don't
but
care
when you're
longer.
Like 45...
Yeah.
Then it's like,
that
how
age, I think...
dare you ask me about my age? It's like, I'm asking how long you've been alive, not how many toes you have. Relax.
But maybe ask, when were you born? Or how young are you?
I'm not going to do that math.
How young are you? I don't like, I normally ask, how young are you, instead of how old are you?
Who cares about being old? It's the process of life.
No, but it's the conditioning and the programming that we've been that we've been fed about age. So when you're, I think, between like 35, 40 until maybe 70, 75-ish. That's the way I see it anyway. That's the age where, you know, you don't talk about the age. And then you get older and older, and hopefully you don't care anymore.
I'm never going to care. Because it's stupid. If someone asks about my age, I tell them, and then if they treat me differently because of that, okay, cool, your loss. I'm a great person, so.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I just think lying about your age, like, I used to do that so much when I was younger, because I was like, yeah, being older is cool. And now that I am that age, I'm like, yeah, you know what, it is pretty cool. But, like, it's still stupid because it's...
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get it when you're young. I don't get it when you're older. Because it's like, we can all tell that you're a middle-aged-ish person. So it's like, just say that. And if you're younger, great. If you're older, wow.
Yeah.
It's an age. It's a number. It's stupid.
Absolutely.
Just say your age.
So let's wrap up with a grateful
Let's wrap
thing.
it up.
I'm very grateful for my age.
There you go.
There I am. And I'm grateful to have this talk with you once a week.
Yes.
And that you're very brave and open about things.
Thank you.
I'm also very grateful that we live in Bali and that we are welcome on this beautiful island.
I am grateful for our 2 little crazy cracked up cats. They're so stupid in many ways, but they make this house a home. I'm very grateful that we have evolved our relationship so that we're comfortable to talk to each other in this way, because I think that's also another stupid thing, that it's very rare for a mother-daughter to have this kind of open communication. And I'm also very grateful that we have food, and it's a very like, we take it as a given. But when you think about it, like yesterday, I had a very hard time with food, but that will be a story for another day. Like, I'm very grateful that we have food and a bed and hot water and a clean water source to drink from. And
I say that to my bed every night when I go to bed. I'm so grateful for this bed. I love my bed. Yeah. Imagine sleeping on a cardboard box, a piece of wood. Yeah, anyway. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.
Don't lie.
Be kind to yourself in the mind.
Lie to yourself, but
Fake
not
it
others.
till you make it in your head.
Lie to yourself but not others.
Yeah.
That sounds so bad, but it makes sense.
Yes. In a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, in a good way.
Don't...
Yeah.
God.
Until next week, lots and lots of love from us.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.